Oh, coming at you here again from the ATX. It's the Box to Box Radio Podcast. We are currently over Skype, hanging out, recording. We missed it. We needed to get back into it. We needed to see each other's faces again and talk soccer, even though the beautiful game is currently on hiatus, unless you live in Honduras or Belarus. And then you guys don't care about CDC or WHO guidelines. You just care about banging in goals. But guys, we're happy to be here. Want to give a quick shout out mention to our sponsors real quick. Sincerely Yours Music. We don't have the intro track for you today because we're on Skype, but they have some great stuff. You can hit them up on Instagram. And also want to give a shout out to our boy Ricky Barone with Ollie Printing Co. Instagram is at Shop Ollie Printing Co. You can hit him up and go buy some of his designs, help support him during this whole shutdown, during this whole thing. So with me today over Skype, glad to see your gorgeous faces. We're going to start with producer Chris. Producer Chris is in the building. Chris, how you doing, my man?
Hey, how's it going, guys? It's been a while since I've seen you, and man, do I miss you guys. As a matter of fact, A-Day is the one that I have probably been away from the longest, so it's really nice to see him as well. What I really want to see is if he has a nice haircut. That's all I need to know. You have a nice haircut?
I'm sporting the Corona cut. I just did a one guard all the way around.
Hey, that looks nice, man.
So it's growing back in, but I couldn't handle it anymore. So I pretty much buzzed it about a week and a half ago.
Man.
But it's growing back in nicely. I think myself and the wife did a decent job. So
it looks good. That's all I wanted to know.
There you go. Of course, by now you guys know that Travis A-Day is on with us as well. We're glad to have him back. He's chilling on the Skype call right now, repping his PDL team, which is great. I like to see that. I like to see the diversity.
Yeah, I was out literally right before we got home. Just bought a new house, trying to get some grass to grow. So it's a little nippy outside, and I was getting all wet. So I decided to throw on the rain jacket.
Yeah, Dima Kovalenko will tell you that blood makes the grass grow, so you might want to try that. That's for our MLS diehards out there. Also on the call with us, we got TC and Darth live from the Death Star. TC's been hanging out at the Death Star. He's been held captive by Darth. He's been turned to the dark side. So they're both kind of sitting there together. Boys, how you doing?
We're doing great, man. Other than having to quarantine and wear a mask every time we go out and stuff. But young Travis has been doing a lot of yard projects for me, so it's nice to have the strong back helping me out.
Getting in shape.
Hey, we have all we need here. We have whiskey, we have Guinness, we have Chivas USA hats, and if you need, we have a Darth haircut on file. So
I did the fade.
Darth hooked it up with the fade, homie.
Hey, TC, your hair's looking a little bit like A-Day's grass, son.
A little shallow.
A little thin.
Hey, that jersey's a little tight on you, Mace.
Oh, hey.
No, I'm just getting big, son. Don't worry about it. That's right, getting big. Thanks, guys. We'll get back to you here pretty soon. I'm sure you got a lot to say in the episode today. Also want to welcome our friend from Talk Austin FC. We have our man Avery back on the mic with us again. He's the ominous figure, the circle up here floating in the corner. Avery, my man, how you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks again for having me on. Glad you guys are all staying healthy in these crazy times and still getting some good haircuts. I can't say my hair is looking very good right now, but
that's why you got the video blocked out. You don't want us to see.
Yeah, I know. I got an image to maintain. Can't be showing the bad hair.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, if you guys for our listeners and followers out there, if you guys aren't already following Talk Austin FC on Twitter, you need to look them up. They are the place to go for Austin FC content here in Central Texas. They have great articles they post. They'll reblog a lot of news updates about the team. They do giveaways, things like that. And Avery is the man behind the keyboard making all that stuff happen. So again, Avery, we're fortunate and privileged to have you on with us. And oh my God, we got a lot of debauchery going on in the bottom of our screen right now. We got TC and Darth. Oh my gosh. You got the light up glasses. Wow. Wow. So, quarantine, man. This is what happens. Did you guys rehearse this, or is this spontaneous? Y'all gonna bust out in a flash mob soon, or what?
Well, we do have a lot of free time here at the lake. It's funny. Every night when Darth goes to bed, he said, "Well, I know it's not actually Friday, but today is Friday for me because he's retired." So,
and you can't see my glass, but it's got etched with Darth on it. So,
oh man,
nice.
Got too much free time, but boys, I want to jump into the soccer talk here because we've been missing out on this for a while. So I'm excited to jump in on that and get that going. I know I sent you guys a rundown and a topic sheet for our topics today, but before we dive in, I want to get your quick thoughts on two things that kind of happened after I sent the rundown out, and that is U.S. Soccer announcing the discontinuation of the Development Academy, and also college programs around the nation closing their doors and canceling their teams. So TC and Darth, I want you guys' opinion on the DA cancellation. I know, Travis, it hits pretty close to home. You working for Lone Star Soccer Club. I want to get your thoughts and opinions on how that is going to impact youth soccer coming up, and just kind of what your initial reaction is.
Yeah, I think the DA has been such a good kind of a startup from U.S. Soccer. It's produced a lot of good players, a lot of players that are playing professionally now are homegrown players who have played in the different academies. Obviously, you can name a bunch of them. I know Weston McKennie is one of the big ones, which we'll get to him later. But you're starting to see a shift, and I think this was kind of an excuse from U.S. Soccer because they were looking for the next step past the DA, and with lack of funding, it was just kind of an easy no-brainer to say goodbye. From a social aspect, it'll be better because players will get to play high school soccer. The players that aren't in the professional academies, and the professional academies were looking for a way to kind of do an in-house league. Major League Soccer is big enough now where they wanted to do kind of, Dallas only plays Houston and then Austin FC, and instead of playing, the Dallas Texans or Solar or Lone Star. So they were looking to kind of separate anyway. So I think it'll be okay as long as U.S. Soccer has to come up with a next step, with the next platform to keep kids playing at the highest level possible.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think the MLS clubs will be fine because they'll find other MLS clubs, and maybe there will be a few of the elite non-MLS clubs that can participate as well in an MLS type DA league. But I think a lot of the clubs that are going to get hurt are the non-MLS clubs that had DA programs. I guess maybe the one nice thing is that people that were playing DA couldn't play high school ball, so maybe that solves that problem because a lot of people gave up a lot of their high school type, memories and stuff to be able to play in the DA league. So I don't know. I mean, I think you need high quality competitive leagues for teams to play, whether they're MLS or clubs or whatever.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I'm excited to see kind of the change in the landscape and what that's going to mean for U.S. soccer and youth soccer coming up. Ada, I want to kick it to you for the college aspect of it. You, of course, were a 4-year player at Mary Hardin Baylor, and you played PDL as well. Yeah, go Crew, right? Go Crew.
Go Crew.
Go Crew. As close as St. Edwards for us has decided that they're going to close down their men's soccer program and a couple of other of their sports teams because of all the budget cuts during COVID-19 and the lack of funding and things like that. As a former collegiate athlete and someone who's worked pretty closely with your university still in admissions, how is this going to affect the university, and how's this going to affect soccer at a higher level in the United States?
That's tough because coming from a Division III school, obviously we didn't have athletic scholarships, which I think is the biggest motivating factor in cutting these programs. I think I read St. Ed's cut 5 varsity sports, and they moved their cheer program to a club status. So with that alone, they're already saving millions in athletic scholarships, especially if you look at it across a 4-year term with a student athlete. If anything, I think this is a big incentive for universities to maybe move to a Division III status, so they don't have to fund these scholarships. But for higher ed as a whole, I know since I work in admissions and recruiting, our numbers are hurting a little bit as well already for the fall of 2020. But it's just a tough time. I feel for all the current athletes that were playing there, and then also the kids that were supposed to be there in the fall to go play their sport. I'm curious to see where a lot of those will pop up. I know UMHB is not too far north of Austin. Southwestern's right there. There's several schools in the San Antonio area that those kids might hop over to find quality competition. But it kind of breaks my heart knowing that I was there kind of 4 years ago. And I don't think this is going to be the last program that we see cut this spring, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we got any listening out there that, firsthand is experiencing what it's like to maybe have their season and their college soccer career cut short because of the cutback of college sports and college soccer in particular, we love to hear from you, how you're feeling. We want to be able to tell your story and advocate for you. And anybody else that's working in the game, I know we have some DA coaches that listen. We have college coaches, things like that. Hit us up in the mailbag. Hit us at 90min@boxtoboxradio.com or respond to us on social media, comments, whatever. We want to make sure we get your guys' side of the story out there. So I know it's kind of a somber way to start the show, boys, but got to talk about it, got to cover it. We got to make sure we're covering everything, especially when it's close to home like that. But now let's get into the realm of fantasy and unlimited possibility here, because I am a big fan of reindeer games. I'm a big fan of hypothetical scenarios, things like that, especially when you can't watch the game on TV. We have to have something to keep the time going and something to keep us motivated and arguing with each other. And so I thought this week, what better than to talk about a team that is all near and dear to us and proximity and love, and that's Austin FC. And as we know, in December, the expansion draft is coming up for their inaugural season in March of 2021. So December 2020, they're going to be entering into the MLS expansion draft, which for those of you guys at home who haven't really been following the expansion draft, maybe you're new to MLS and you're coming on board and you're going to be a Grackle and you're going to be a part of the anthem. Expansion draft basically means every team in the league gets to protect 12 of their senior rostered players. Homegrown players under the age of 25 are exempt already, so they are already automatically protected. And players that have no trade clauses have to be protected, and Generation Adidas players have to be protected as well, which if you want more research on that, please go to MLSsoccer.com. They've got great articles, a great rule sheet that you can follow. So we are, boys, today going to be doing a mock expansion draft for Austin FC. And my favorite thing that I heard back from when I sent this question sheet out is Travis called me. He's like, "Hey, Darth is pretty pissed about this question." And I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, it has no realm of possibility because you have no idea who's going to be protected, who's not going to be protected." So I fabricated a protected list. And of course, there are 10 teams that are exempt also because they had players selected last year. So those teams are already exempt from the expansion draft. So the remaining 16 teams in the league were able to lose players. So I made a mock protected sheet, and from that, we were able to make our picks. So I can't wait to hear what y'all pick, what y'all decided. And again, our listeners, respond to this tweet with your comments about it, or comment on our YouTube page, comment on our email address, hit up Avery at Talk Austin FC and be like, "Why the hell did you join the show with these bozos?" You just let us have it. Let us know about it. But before we dive into the picks, boys, I want to give each of you an opportunity to let me know your draft strategy. So you're putting yourselves in the shoes of the GM, and you're about to draft players for the inaugural season for Austin FC. So we'll go ahead and start out at the Death Star with Travis and Darth. Boys, walk me through each of your individual draft strategies.
Yeah, so for me, it was kind of a mix. So it was, how can I get, a star player, a leader, a veteran, and then also some role players. So, looking at who's one star name we can pick up, as well as somebody that's a league journeyman, and then also some players that can fill a couple different positions or maybe have been bounced around a little bit that want to fulfill a specific role. I also thought about what tactically I would do if I was in charge to kind of gear where I was going. But Darth, what about you?
Yeah, so I wanted some, I would say journeyman MLS veterans, but not too old, but people that had MLS experience that were also not too pricey. Good locker room guys was important for me. I think you want some guys that are good to kind of fill out the team in your first year and kind of set the tone for the club. I think the other thing is there were a lot of good picks. I tended to stay away from anybody that was 25 and down just because I wasn't sure if it was Generation Adidas and or homegrown and, draft picks, how did they kind of fit in? So I didn't really focus too much on them. But a lot of really good players. I was kind of surprised when I put the list kind of club by club together that weren't on your list of 12 that fit into that category. So that was my strategy, and I thought I would end up with a lot more of a defensive mix than I did, but we'll go through them as we go through them.
Yeah, and one of the things for me that made this process is a lot of fun, by the way, and I appreciate the question. I went and I looked at all the unprotected players for each team, and I selected, if I only got one pick per team, who would I want to take? And then I took that list and tried to narrow it into 5. And like Darth said, it was a lot harder to get down to 5 than I thought it'd be. There's some good players available, so I'm excited to see who's going to be the first one to take someone that is protected.
Yeah,
probably me.
Yeah, right. For our listeners out there, we'll go ahead when we post this video. I'll post you my mock protected list, so you guys can roast you MLS diehards can roast me in the comments about who I left protected and unprotected.
That was Mason alone.
That's right. I'll take responsibility.
Box to Box Radio.
Hey, you did the homework though, so it took a while to put that list together. So appreciate the effort.
Hey, it's a passion project. I do it because I love it. All right, we haven't. That was good. I like the silent laughter because they're all muted. Avery, we're gonna kick it to you. Oh my God, changing hats. Oh my God, Avery, we're gonna kick it to you now. What was your process behind your expansion draft's 5 picks?
So I was trying to do my best to look at it. If I was in the room with, Austin FC, with, obviously Precourt and Reyna and Wolf and what they would want, try to maybe pick some guys that they have some familiarity with who played for the Crew in the past. Maybe some guys who have come through the national team, just guys that they would know what type of players they're getting and not have to necessarily do as much research on them. And, just trying to get guys that I know will work in the MLS. You're not necessarily going to get any superstars in the expansion draft, but just kind of picking guys that you're like, okay, like I know they can play on this team and I don't have to worry about them and we don't have to worry about getting that position and, just good, solid players across the board.
I like that. I like the draft strategy of you putting yourself in the room. I think that'll be good. And we got a guy here that knows the ins and outs of the club already, even though it's so new. So I'll be interested to see who you pick for this. Producer Chris, I hope you listened to the question, buddy, and I hope you got some good picks.
Yeah, with my first pick. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I had a heart attack, bro. I was crawling for the mute button.
I had to throw. I had to do it, right?
Yeah, I get you.
Okay, so I thought of Josh Wolf, all right, and Josh Wolf was a goal scorer. So he in everything that he probably does, he's going to think I need to score goals, and so all I could think of was how do I get the ball to the goal scorer? So I figured I'd go with some midfielders some vetted and some younger ones, guys that can actually run up and down the field. I figured I'd go with that route because of the way he thinks. And then maybe throw in a couple of defenders, just to, some vetted defenders that'll, to do the job. And then I was going to go with, with like a designated player, in certain positions. But but that's how I thought. He's a goal. He was a goal scorer. He's going to want to score goals.
I like that. That's great.
Chris, I love you so much. Hashtag it's a sport, bud. I love it.
Man.
Love Chris.
Yeah. I did my homework. If I get homework.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see if you did your homework.
But,
we'll see if
when I do my homework, I usually get high B's.
High B's. Hey, we'll take it. B's get degrees apparently on Box to Box Radio. All right. Thank you, Chris, for your draft strategy. Travis Ade, the guru. How would you? I know you've been thinking about this for years. So how would you do it?
I actually didn't get much of a chance to put much thought into this, unfortunately. But I went with a little bit of what Chris and TC said. You can't win if you don't score goals. And obviously with Josh Wolf being the manager, he was a forward, scored a boatload of goals in his time. So that was basically my strategy. And then also you need someone to get the ball to the goal scorers. So you're going to find that my picks are a good mix of those two. We might end up being a little top heavy though. So,
okay. So Ade went with the FC Cincinnati strategy of not thinking about who he's going to draft. So let's.
Yeah, we're going to set a new league record for goals conceded in the first year.
Hey, Hey, at least you hold a record, right? Well, let's hope that doesn't happen. And at the end, boys, what I want to do is when all the draft picks are out on the table, ready to go, we can all decide who would have had the best draft. So I'm excited to see, and we want to know in the comments also who you think had the best draft for Austin FC. So, boys, we're going to go pick by pick here. We're not going to run down the whole list. We're going to go pick by pick. So I want you to go through your first pick each, and I'll prompt you kind of on when you can go and explain who they are, what team they came from, and why you selected that player, right? And we might have some repeats, but your reasonings might be different. I just want to see kind of your full draft day experience. Before we jump in and do that, though, I want to take a minute to explain to you boys my draft strategy. I tried to build from the back. I think a solid defense is great. It's hard to find good MLS caliber defenders outside of the league. And so for me, I wanted to get some of the defenders in here, some guys that are younger with some experience. I don't know what that says, but
soft, Mason. It says soft.
Whatever. I also wanted to get some guys that are some distressed assets that maybe aren't doing as well at their current clubs and need a change of scenery. And then I have one pick in here that has high trade value, and I actually worked out a trade scenario that I want for Austin FC to do, and I have that in there. So you shouldn't have expected anything less.
Way to wreck the curve, genius.
All right, boys. Well, I don't like the curve. Flatten the curve. Hey, flatten the curve. I don't know if that's too soon, too real, or what. But it's definitely on brand for you, Darth. Man. So we're gonna go ahead and against my better judgment, we're gonna let the Death Star boys go first. So, TC, we're going to let you go first, and Darth, you go second with your first pick.
Oh, yes. What an honor. Oh, thank you to the Academy. So, to start this, there's no better pick than my home run, my superstar pick. Somebody that's going to be expensive, but guess what? Scoring goals is expensive. My top selection comes from Orlando City. It's Dom Dwyer.
What has he done for me lately? Oh my God, he's so expensive.
Hey's reaction to that was priceless.
God. Yeah, we can't see it. I agree with A-Day all the way.
He did the Bob Bradley get lost. He was like,
I love it. Hey,
So-
everybody has to have a lost lead.
Hey,
It's okay.
Someone's got to score goals. He's a proven goal scorer. He's in a bad situation in Orlando.
Let me tell you who's going to score goals. My first pick, Juan Aguadillo from Miami.
What a joke!
Come on.
Really?
He still got it. He
Never had it.
The right.
I don't think he. I
put him in
love.
the right system.
I love Juan Aguadillo, but I don't think.
Boys.
I don't think he ever had it.
Hey, you want 37-year-old Chris Wondolowski? No.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey, so he's only like 27 years old.
only 27 guys.
Yes, that's my guy.
Hey, Christian Coman was 23 when he left FC Dallas, so age is but a number.
Yeah, but he wrecked his knee.
Hey.
Everybody drink. Hey, yeah. Hey, you got a beverage for when I talk about my knee?
Yep.
Hey, there it is. All right. We're gonna let A-Day go second because I like the reaction we had to that. So Travis, A-Day, go ahead and give us your first pick.
Oh, well, there they are with the rotating hats again. I also went with somebody from Miami as well, and I didn't do the research to see if he had a no trade clause or not. But I'm going to go with Lee Wynn. Not on your protected list, that I believe. But go ahead and crucify me if it's an incorrect pick.
Is his Walker included with
Oh, come on. Anyway, for my money, I think he has one of the best foot skills in the league. I really liked him with LAFC. Thought he should have been on the field a lot more. And you know, he's serves a really good ball. He's going to get the ball to my goal scorers. So that's my first pick, Lee Wynn.
Interesting choice. Not how I would have drafted, but that's okay. Hey, that's all right. All right, Lee Wynn from Inter Miami is Travis A-Day's first pick. Avery, we're going to kick it to you. Who is your first pick in the Austin FC expansion draft?
So with my first pick, I went with Justin Merrim, who, plays for Real Salt Lake, but he spent many years in Columbus, so that's somebody that, they'll know very well. He'll understand the philosophy that they're going to want to bring to the team, and it's just a guy that will fit in with the culture, and they won't have to have a big learning curve with him. He can come in right away. He can play some games. He's not going to be your star player, but he's going to understand what Austin FC is trying to build, and he'll the owners know him, the president knows him, and for me it seems like maybe not the best pick, but it seems like a safe pick. Like, what you're getting to get out of it.
Yeah, man, that's a great pick. I have another RSL player on my list, or else Merrim would have made my list. So we'll get to that soon. But I think the Columbus connection's good. I didn't see anybody in the group have a qualm with that pick either. So that's a first.
No, I think it's really cool how you're looking at it from a different angle. We all are kind of looking at it from different angles, whether it's a tactical piece or just a soccer piece or a high value piece. But it's cool that you're looking at it from the culture standpoint and someone who will be a long-term fit for the club as a whole. That's cool. It's kind of a different direction to think about it.
Yeah, I figured if I look at it from the angle of the club, maybe they'll listen to this and hire me. So,
amen. Love it. Hey, don't forget where you came from when you get on staff.
Right, of course.
I love it. Chris, we're gonna let you go last because I think that'd be good radio. So I'm gonna go next. So with my first pick in the 2021 expansion draft, Austin FC selects from Toronto FC goalkeeper Alex Bono. I think Alex Bono, he's a young goalkeeper. He's got CONCACAF Champions League experience. Oh, man, the Death Star claps. I love it. He's got CCL experience. He's a good shot stopper. He's a kid that he's stuck behind Quentin Westberg, and for whatever reason, he's not very highly valued up in Toronto right now. Greg Vanney is kind of looking at other options, and I think he'd be a kid that if he got a change of scenery, he'd be a franchise goalkeeper, and he's on a pretty friendly contract. I think he'd be great.
Yeah, Mace, I also took Alex Bono, so that's a great shout.
Yeah, he was my first alternate, but highly valued from the Death Star for sure.
We'll get to those. We'll get to those later. Don't jump in. We'll let you explain why you picked those. So, yeah, Alex Bono, first pick for me. Producer Chris, let's hear it, buddy. Who's your first pick?
All right. So with the ultimate pick, just letting you know right now. There it is. There it is. I actually went with Victor Cabrera. Like I was telling you guys, look at him. See that? And the reason is because, and I know he's in Houston right now, but he played a few years in Montreal. And look, I'm just looking for guys that have been in the MLS. Oh, my bad. I'm looking for guys that have played in MLS. I know. for multiple seasons. I'm looking for guys that can. I knew it. Anyways, all right. So I'll finish. So, like I said, I'm just looking for guys that have played in MLS for a while. I know that he's been in the midfield for most of his career, but like I said, I need vetted players to be able to get the ball to a goal scorer. Whether it's whether it's a sloppy pass or whatever it is, I'll have my Zlatan up there, my Zlatan-esque type of goal scorer, and you just toss the ball up and and just make it work. But yeah, like I said, I'm looking for a guy that has been playing in MLS in the midfield for years, and that was one of the guys that really just stood out to me, especially being 27. All right, go ahead.
I didn't know Victor Cabrera, the center back, played a little bit of midfield too.
No, Chris.
There it is. I have my tabs mixed up, and I switched over.
He plays a hell of a through ball.
Yeah.
Plays the ball boy in for days down the touchline. It's great. Chris.
Why? You know why? Because I have another Victor on my team.
Don't give it away. Don't give it away.
I know, but that's why I mixed them up.
Just gave it away. I know who it is. Anyway, but yeah, all right. I don't hate that pick, but that's okay. I mean, he's a guy that would be a great third center back in the league. I don't think he's a starter in this league, which is why he's bounced around to a couple clubs. I don't think, you have 36-year-old Minor Figueroa starting at center back for Houston, which means he's keeping Victor Cabrera out of the team. So, hey man, we'll see. But yeah, good first round of picks. Travis Carmichael, we're gonna kick it to you for your second pick in the expansion draft.
Yeah, so my second pick was Alex Bono. So Mason already kind of said that, but Alex Bono is a goalkeeper that was at some point in time in conversations with the national team job, and like you said, he fell out of favor at Toronto FC. And he doesn't lose that quality. I think he just needs a change of scenery. He's only 25. He's not on too much money, so I think it's just an absolute slam dunk.
Yeah, I'd agree. Darth, what about you? Who was your second pick?
Yeah, so with the second pick in the expansion draft, Austin FC picks 28-year-old midfielder from the LA Galaxy, Perry Kitchen.
Whoa. Interesting. You explain yourself, Darth.
He's a journeyman. He's been around. He's played for a few different clubs, and I think he is a great locker room guy. Guy you can kind of help build a nucleus around. He's not the best player on the pitch, but he's pretty serviceable.
So I don't hate that pick. That's I think he's a solid contributor. Whether you get a guy that's a starter or a guy that's going to be a good squad rotation guy, I think he's a good player for that.
Yeah, pick your DPs and fill in around him.
There you go. I like that. Mr. Travis Ade, what about you?
So with my second pick, I'm going to go with Chris Seitz. Somebody that I've always rated kind of highly, stuck behind Bill Hamid in DC, and you need someone to keep the ball out of the net. He's lived in Texas at two different teams, so why not make it a third?
Complete the Texas treble. Travis Carmichael's dying here.
So I'm going to point something out to you. These were the goalkeepers that you're not going to take because you like Chris Seitz. You're not going to take.
Chris Seitz is a great guy, by the way.
We love Chris Seitz.
Hey man, it's all fantasy.
Y'all love Chris Seitz.
You're not going to take Alex Bono.
Oh,
Nope.
You're not going to take Cody Cropper.
Cody Cropper.
And you're not going to take Bobby Shuttleworth.
Bobby Shuttleworth washed.
Zach McMath, Joe Bendick. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that are not 35.
Quentin
Okay,
Westbrook was
first
left
of all,
unprotected.
the only reason Bobby Shuttleworth is still in this league is because he has a funny sounding name.
Look, I love Sites. You're a good guy, but that's a wrong choice, my friend. But hey, at least no one's picked like Carlos Vela or something yet. So
yeah, there's that. I've always thought that Chris was pretty good with his distribution. Judging by how I think Austin might try and play like a pretty keep the ball out of the back and that kind of style, I think that would suit him well. And he's always good on a nice side volley for the counter.
Yeah, I love Chris. I think given his age, though, I would take a Jimmy Moore type guy if you want just a really good guy over him. But hey, it's your pick. There you go.
Mason never sent out an updated list. So given that Jesse would probably be automatically protected anyway as a homegrown, I think that they would protect Jimmy as well.
That's fair. That's fair.
Isn't Jesse 25 though?
No, he's 24.
He's 24.
24. Okay.
But he would be 25, I think, by the time this started. So.
Oh, in December he would.
In December he would be 25. Yeah.
I didn't look at his birthday.
That's fine. So Chris Seitz with your pick. Avery, we're gonna kick it to you. Your second pick.
So with my second pick, I went with Perry Kitchen as well. Kind of the same thing. He's journeyman, and they can also. I was looking at from the stance as well as they can sell like, hey, look, we've got a player in the expansion draft with European experience. Whether you think it's anything special at all. It wasn't like he was playing for Barcelona or anything, but still, journeyman, good player, European experience. It can help you out in the midfield. It's once again, it's not a home run, but I think it's a solid double.
Yeah, who could forget those European nights at Hearts?
Yeah, hey, the Scottish League, it's a bad rap, It's
oh man,
some decent teams.
Yeah, I'm shocked at the double Perry Kitchen picks. I'm surprised that two people had Perry Kitchen. So yeah, Avery, you got to take our which box to box radio analyst quiz and see if you get Darth, because that'd be fun. All right, so Perry Kitchen. We're now going to me, and boys, I remember I told you at the beginning of the show that oh my god, that I included a trade in here. So this, for my number 2 pick, is my trade value pick, and I will explain to you who I trade the player to for what resources, and then what I do with those resources in return. All right, and y'all can roast me whatever. Again, it's a fantasy draft. This is my fantasy for Austin FC. So here we go. So for the second pick in the 2021 MLS expansion draft, Austin FC selects Dom Dwyer from Orlando City and subsequently trades Dwyer to Nashville SC for allocation money. Nashville is in need of a goal scorer. They're in need of somebody that's not Dom Badji or Abu Dunladi up front. So they'll take a flyer on Dom Dwyer. Take a flyer on Dwyer. I like that. With that allocation money, Austin FC elects to send allocation money to Columbus for Hector Jimenez. Hector Jimenez, league veteran, good guy, worked with Josh Wolf in Columbus. He's a guy that could be a good club captain, a great leader. And he's a defensive player who's a veteran in the league, who's been kind of a spot starter. So he's a good depth piece to add to the roster with experience. And then the other part, because Dom Dwyer would cost a lot of allocation money to get for Nashville, my other part of the allocation money would be sent to Minnesota United for Mason Toye. Young striker, like him, love. Yeah, Darth said he's offside. Love the player, and I think that'd be a good bit of business for Austin FC.
So hold on. Let me get this straight. Time out. So one, just the rules just out the window. Whatever. You're like Carlos Bocanegra. You do whatever the hell you want with expansion drafts. Secondly, How are you going to trade Dom Dwyer for Mason Toy and whoever else you mentioned? Dom Dwyer is not that valuable.
You'd be surprised how valuable Dom Dwyer is in the league.
You're driving Darth to drink, man.
Darth drove himself to drink.
I didn't drive. I don't drink and drive.
Don't drink yourself to drive. So again, I said, I don't care. Screw you guys. I wanted to say another word there, but we don't have editing on this. That's my pick. At least it wasn't Lee Wynn or Chris Seitz. You know? Look at him. He's upset. Oh, man. Well, all right. Producer Chris, we're going to go to you next.
All right. So with my second pick, I do have two Victors. And that's why I got a little confused earlier. So I have Victor Ulloa from Inter Miami. That's who I have. That's the guy that I had mixed up earlier. You guys were
Mr. Expansion Draft himself.
But either way, again, he was actually a homegrown from FC Dallas, so I figured you guys might even appreciate that.
News to me. Victor Ulloa. Travis Carmichael, what do you want to say to Chris?
Nothing.
Before we started, I almost jokingly said, whoever picks Victor Ulloa, I'll buy a 6-pack, but I didn't say it. Oh! I thought for sure none of you schmucks would take a second-rate USL holding midfielder.
Oh.
Wow, what are you doing there, Tar?
He's
working on. I've been working on my core. 6-pack.
God. All right, so there's round two. A lot of rules, I think, broken. Even though I made the rules of the game, that's fine. A lot of interesting picks. 2 victors. We'll see what happens next. Round 3 now. Travis Carmichael, who is your third pick in the Austin FC expansion draft?
I picked the next couple are very interesting. I kind of went a specific direction, but the guy I picked third is going to be O'Neal Fisher from DC United.
Okay, and why?
He's a seasoned outside back. He's a Jamaican international.
These are all facts.
He's just kind of a solid role player. I'm looking in the system to play outside back so I can get forward and join the attack. And him and my next pick will kind of fulfill that role. So I think he can play on the right hand. But I like him.
All right, fair enough. That'll work for me. Darth, what about you? Who is your third pick here?
Yeah, so for the third pick, I went with Fafa Picault, and he is a relatively young midfielder, tons of pace. Yeah, that's relatively young. I mean, he's got some experience, but he's not like a homegrown guy. But he's got a ton of pace. You always need a guy that can go up and down the left wing. So I think he'd be a good fit. Good locker room guy. Seems to want to be wherever he is and play hard.
Interesting. So Pico was one that I think A-Day would probably be frustrated that I left unprotected because of all the homegrowns that FC Dallas has. But hey, that's a good pick. I like Papa Pico.
That's how I do it.
That's how you do it, Darth. All right, A-Day, what about you, my man? I think A-Day's frozen and his connection gave out on him. All right, we're going to skip Travis A-Day. We're going to come back to him here in a minute.
I will say, though, that the 2 times that he has frozen, he's been in, like, the perfect pose.
Oh, yeah, look at that. It's glorious. All right. Well, the Death Star, if you kids at home watching want to know what day drinking is, you can ask Bert and Ernie over here at the Death Star. So, oh, no.
Hey, the homeschool teacher got fired like day 2 for drinking on the job. Just saying.
All right. Well, Travis A-Day is back from the land of being frozen. So A-Day, we're going to kick it to you for your third pick.
Can I get a recap of Darth's pick? I didn't get.
Darth said Fafa Pico.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Definitely not who I picked. let me pull up my list. So I also picked someone from Dallas, but not Fafa Pico. I was kind of thinking in the future, Franco Hara is going to arrive in Dallas midsummer, hopefully. Cobra is probably going to be out of favor once Hara starts banging in goals. Love the guy, and I know he took a big risk to come over here, so hopefully moving from Dallas to Austin isn't going to be too much of a change for him. But I think he's going to be an instant cult legend for Austin FC.
Oh, man, the age worries me a little bit because he'll be 32 at the start of the season for Austin FC, but the intrigue of having the Cobra banging in goals in Austin, I mean, that's worth the price of admission.
So Trav, is it like, are you trying to make an MLS club down there, or is it a retirement home?
Hey, man, there's tons of golf courses down there if they decide to hang the boots up. So
hey, he's an MLS 2.0. It's still
Ronnie O'Brien.
That was the main motivating factor behind Lee Win. You know, if he decides to skip training, he can just send Precourt a picture of him on the golf course. So, shout out New England Revolution for anyone that gets that reference.
Yep, that was great. I love that. All right, so yeah, Travis Ade is building the retirement league. All of the folks are going to live in Sun City, so it'll be good. Avery, as the changing of the hats occurs, it's like the changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace. He's got a visor now. Good God, Avery, who's your third pick?
Hold on. So did Bob Stoops just join the chat?
Bob Stoops, get out of here!
Oh my.
All right, hey, go ahead.
So with my third pick, I took someone who's already went a couple times, Alex Bono. You know, a goalie with experience. He's only 25. You know, I think, you know, I don't necessarily know how much of importance Austin FC will put on a goalie. Obviously, goalie is important, but you know, unless they're going out making a big splash, I think taking a guy that you can trust and has already shown some success in the MLS makes a ton of sense.
So Mason, I'm so sorry to cut you off. I didn't know we were playing hockey. I didn't know we had goalies, my guy.
Oh my God. I knew all of us. So if you could see our faces,
I knew it.
Waiting for Avery to get obliterated. Hey,
I'm sorry.
You're jumped in now, my friend.
Travis, back me up, man. Goalkeeper union.
Dude, I'm here for it. I having literally not even met Avery, I didn't want to blast him. I was hoping you would hop in, but I have to agree with you.
Soft, Trav.
Hey, Avery, you're bled in now, though, man. Like, once you get roasted and annihilated and cursed at by Travis Carmichael, you're in for life. So,
but hey, so there is one thing I did about 2 weeks ago, and I did Google goalie and goalkeeper, and they both come up separately. Goalie does come up as hockey, and goalkeeper obviously comes up as football. But
it's
goalie,
true, yeah.
If you Google it, it pulls it up just like you got, like both Travises talk about.
Well, then, thank you, Google, for proving the point that we've proved the whole time. Don't do it, North. You're too young.
This has been Deep Thoughts with Jack Handy. All right. Moving over to my pick now for the third pick in the MLS expansion draft in 2021. Austin FC selects out of Real Salt Lake center back Justin Glad. U.S. Youth International, a guy that was sniffing around the first team. He's been in Camp Cupcake a couple times. He's got a couple center backs in front of him, and they got some youth academy products that they're high on, like Eric Holt, that they're really looking to shift in there once Anua and Marcus Silva retire. I think Justin Glad, he's in a bad spot. He's kind of like in the Kellen Acosta scenario. He's kind of run his course of his homegrown deal, and he needs a new challenge if he's going to really take the next step in his career. And I think Austin would be a good home for him.
So, Mason, I was looking at him too, but I was looking on MLS's website, and he's listed as a homegrown and 24. So is he going to be 25 when the deal goes down?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
If not, we'll trade him for Mason Toy.
Shut up, Darth. All right. Chris, who is your third pick in the expansion draft?
All right. So with my third pick, it's a Toronto FC player. He just signed this year, and it's Pablo Piatti.
Terrible pick.
He's a winger. I was just going, based on somebody that's been playing the game for a very long time. He's old. Don't get me wrong. He's 31 years old. But based on the list, and I knew what Darth was picking, I didn't want to go with the same things that he did.
Travis Carmichael, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
How many preseason appearances and games combined has Pablo Piatti made for Toronto FC?
I'm going to guess 0.
No,
Zero.
correct. If you look at his career, he's played like hundreds of games.
Do you know how Toronto FC got him on a cheap, Chris?
Because he's old.
Nope, not
Why?
that. Anybody else got any guesses?
Please just tell us. I'm dying.
Injury prone. Injured. Not going to make any appearances this season if there still is an MLS season after all this garbage. He's not going to make any appearances. He's going to be on the training room table. Congratulations on drafting Abu Dhabi. Yep, my offside there? Hey, play the whistle. VAR. Screen's broken. We're not playing. It's CCL. We're playing in a stadium without it. I was onside. Yeah, so Pablo, expensive, fragile, untested in MLS. Pablo Piatti is Chris. Chris, you might have meant Nacho Piatti, but he's in Argentina now. So third pick there, Pablo Piatti. Darth is dying over there. Oh my God. Look at him. He's red. He can't take it. Oh man. Oh, I love it. So we're gonna go now. Kick it to the Death Star for pick number 4.
Go ahead.
Contain yourself.
Diane.
Sorry, we were taking advantage of the mute function. And
Gosh, you're not wrong.
all right, hopefully,
Good choice, Chris.
all right, hopefully this pick is better than Chris's, but I don't see how it couldn't be. So here we go. Chris, but if you can manage to pick all 5 that were all eligible, I'll still buy you that 6-pack.
Oh, man.
Let's see, 4th pick. I am going to go with a guy who can play a lot of different positions. He'll ideally play left back, and that's going to be Jimmy Madranda.
Okay. All right.
I like him. He's young. He does have the one bad knee injury. Everybody drink.
Hey, he was blinded by the FIFA rating.
Not blinded by the FIFA rating.
My guy's blinded by the FIFA rating.
No, I'm blinded by athleticism. It's a sport.
Oh my God.
He's good. He can play a number of different positions. He's a solid guy, and
He's not horrible. I mean, he's a good locker room guy, so
take a chance. Why not?
Yeah, good locker room guy, Jimmy Madranda.
I didn't say that. He said that. I think he's a good player.
Okay.
he's all right.
Hey, MC Darth, what'd you pick?
So,
Hey, congratulations for selecting the MLS version of Anibal Chala. Congratulations.
All right, that's fair.
enough.
All right.
So this guy's a little older than I would like, but he is a great locker room guy. He's got a ton of pace.
That means Ede's going to take him.
He will. Yes. He'll room with Chris Seitz probably on the road. Shea Salinas.
Oh, my.
I love that pick, Darth. That's a great pick. Hey, Texas boy, went to Grapevine High School. Go Stangs. Pony up.
You're not wrong. And he's a good guy. I mean, by all accounts, he works hard. He's a good guy, good locker room guy. I mean, part of building a new franchise is you need guys that will help kind of set the tone with the club and put in the hard work. And, that's kind of what they said about Bobby Ryan. It's like he practiced as hard as he played, which was a little bit of his downfall. I mean, he didn't have that extra little bit to give on game day because, on the practice pitch, he gave everything he had.
I like that. That's a good pick, Dart.
What I do?
All right, 8A. What about you, my man? Your fourth geriatric pick of the day.
You know it. With my fourth pick, I'm going to go with a guy out of Colorado. Also a forward, over 100 league goals, Kai Kamara.
Again, over 30 years old. Over 30-year-old. Oh, my God.
He's really good in the air. Scored a boatload of goals in the league. I think he would do well in Texas.
He'll be 36.
And if anything else, he can join Lee Win on the golf course.
They legalize something?
It's a young man's game, Trav.
It's five players, five veteran players to build a team around. You can get the rest of the young guys around.
Strategy.
It's locker room cancer. I mean, it's me.
Wait, so are you going to have like the other 5 field players, like all Latif blessings just flying around all over the place?
Yeah, that's the goal.
Holy cow.
Hey, heart-shaped hands for you. Heart-shaped hands. Avery, hopefully your pick is not an AARP member. Who is your pick?
So, I actually was considering Kai Kamara when this started because he's a good goal scorer. But I looked at the other forwards and I realized, obviously Kai Kamara's 35. And I decided to go with Juan Agudelo because by the time he is Kai Kamara's age, it'll be like 2029. So, you can get a few more years out of him. I mean, I know he's not the best player, but I still would rather have him on my team than Dom Dwyer. So that really was my thinking there.
He was my first pick. That's a great pick.
Thank you. I'm glad we're on the same page. It's a couple times now, but
guy.
Yeah, but he's nothing. He's nothing special, but it is what it is. I think he's a good player, not a superstar. Get a guy up there who can contribute because hopefully there'll be a designated player that's your star attacker.
Fair enough. Yeah, and we'll get to that. That's our next topic here after we finish this is some DP. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys say on that. But yeah, I don't think I have to say it again how much I dislike Juan Agudelo as a pick.
When's the last goal he scored? I want to know.
Hey, that's a fun reindeer game for our listeners. If you can, first one to write in when's the last. Chris, no, you don't look it up. When's the last goal? God, Chris, you're on the show. Kenneth, what's your frequency, Kenneth? Are you listening? Good God. Yeah.
For another 6-pack?
No. Sit there in your poncho. Permanent mute button for Chris. Listeners out there, if you can tell us the last goal that Juan Agudelo scored, we'll mail you a t-shirt. Why not? I got a couple here sitting at my house in Georgetown. I'll mail you out a t-shirt. Why not? Yeah, so we're gonna kick it over here to myself for my fourth pick in the expansion draft. Austin FC selects out of Colorado Diego Rubio. Diego Rubio, guy that kind of a second forward. Josh Wolf lined up a little bit as a second forward in his career. He's a guy that would probably appreciate the playmaking ability as well as the finishing of a guy like Diego Rubio. He wouldn't be my main striker. He'd be the guy that I'd play right underneath my 9. He's more of a hard-working kind of second forward, a little bit creative. You can play him as a 9, as kind of a hybrid 10. You can play him as a winger. He's a guy that I think would be really, really good, and he'd be good on field as well.
I like that pick. I thought about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he'd fit in pretty great. Chris, we're going to kick it to you now for your fourth pick in the expansion draft.
With the ultimate pick of the draft, my fourth pick is Carlos Fierro. Not a big name, doesn't play a whole lot, but I feel like a guy that what's that?
What?
So I feel like a 25-year-old can run up and down the wing. I mean, I just, like I said, kind of going off of what everybody was kind of going off of, and I didn't want to pick anything else that you guys picked, and I knew Darth had checked off a couple of them, so I tried to stay away from those two.
Dang, Chris has the unproven expansion draft. So 8A's on brand
right.
with the geriatrics. Chris is the guys that have never been able to get it done in MLS. All 4 picks.
Chris, you can't keep saying it's the ultimate pick and then pick something like that. You're going to kill the bar, dude.
Chris, you're not drafting for the bold, son.
Reindeer game, would all 4 of them start for the Austin Bold?
No. Hey, they'd have to beat out Callum Malice. Anyway, we're moving on now to our 5th and final pick here. So, Death Star, Travis Carmichael, with your 5th and final pick in the expansion draft.
All right, prepare to pick your jaw up off the floor there, Mason. I'm going to take this vital person in this kind of building process, and that's going to be league journeyman Andy Rose. Oh.
Not horrible.
I see.
The guy that can't start for the worst team in the West is your pick?
I like him.
He oh my God. I don't want to even justify that with more of a response than I've already given you.
That's your defense, is you like him?
Thank you, A-Day. Thank you so much, A-Day.
Hey, Trav, is it going to be Kyle Beckerman or Drew Bohr next? We have a bet going.
You nailed it, actually.
Wait, we have money on this. Who was it? We'll get there.
Don't worry, we'll get there. Hey, can I host the show again? Is that okay?
Anarchy, baby. Andy Rose, he's a league journeyman. He was good at Seattle. He played in Scotland for a bit. I think he's good.
Hey, I would just love to see the social media opportunity for Andy Rose getting busted at the Yellow Rose.
That's funny. I'm going to get you credit for that one. You win.
Right. That's right. Darth, please tell me your 5th pick isn't Andy Rose.
No, it's not Andy Rose. I'm going for a value guy that can run his tail off in the midfield. I was going to say something else, but I didn't. And knock in a few goals from TFC. I'm not quite sure how to say his first name. Subasa, maybe? It sounds like a
Endo.
Endo, yes.
That's a good
value pick. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Now I'm regretting not picking my 6th choice instead of somebody else.
And I will say I had a different name written down that I scratched out to put Endo in.
Hey, it's like the real draft, baby.
You're not wrong.
I had 3 backups.
We'll get to that. Let's get to everybody else's first.
Hey, are you hosting the show, Darth, or am I hosting the show?
He's hosting the show.
So
you stop talking.
No.
Travis, Carmichael, who were your picks that you had in reserve?
I had Fafa Pico. I had Alvis Powell.
Oh my God!
And I had Okonkwo for Montreal.
So he's on loan from Bologna. That's the only reason I didn't pick him, because he's a loanee. All right, Darth. Who was the guy that you crossed out for Tsubasa Endo?
Taisho Akindele.
Yeah, that's my fault for leaving him unprotected. Oscar would never leave him unprotected.
You're not wrong.
All right, A-Day, was it Drew Moore?
Oscar's boy. So this guy is probably going to wear the armband for my club, even if he's one and done after the first season. Good locker room piece to build the culture. It's Kyle Beckerman.
Oh my God. 47-year-old Kyle Beckerman. Holy hell.
Get it!
So you guys are muted. I don't know what's going on.
He said very
What did
soft.
he say?
Geritol's the jersey sponsor.
And hey,
Too late. It's already Yeti.
It's already Yeti.
But good shout there.
That's right. Oh my God. Adidas is going to make an on-brand pair of adult diapers that also double as athletic shorts, so you guys can not have to worry about taking bathroom breaks. Anyway, Avery,
Wow.
your fifth and final pick, please.
Yeah, so my fifth pick is Declan Wynn from Colorado. Versatile defender. You know, he's had some injury problems, but I mean, there wasn't really a defender that I loved. So, you know, I tried to go with someone who's a little bit younger and, you know, New Zealand international, not a big deal. But, yeah, I mean, I don't really have a ton to defend it, but, you know, versatile defender. He can play multiple positions. He can start, but he's not going to be your best defender. But, you know, you could throw him around there.
Avery, I know that this is only your second time on the podcast, but did you and Chris switch bodies?
No, we did not. Not for this. Not at this moment.
Good God. Declan Wynn. Man. All right. Better defenders on the board than Declan Wynn. Just going to say that. Chris, I hope you can top that with your last pick, but we're going to come to you next. With my fifth and final pick in the expansion draft, I went for a young guy who, in his limited minutes in MLS, has shown a lot of promise. And when he's had to step in and be a starter, he's done well. Chris and I also got to see him firsthand against San Antonio in preseason. He can play center back. He can play outside back. He can play in the midfield. With my fifth and final pick, Austin FC selects from FC Dallas, John Nelson.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure if he counted because he was Generation Adidas.
His GA deal, the GA deals run up after 2 years, so this is his last year of his GA deal. So he's my pick.
Right, so I really like that. I mean, I had him on my maybe list, but I wasn't sure he was eligible. I didn't want to get you didn't listen to the question.
Yeah, I think I might rate him a little higher than most people do, but I really enjoyed what I've seen of John Nelson. So he'd be a good pick. And that's also contingent on if Reggie Cannon leaves, because if Cannon leaves, I imagine they protect Nelson because he's got a bright future at the club. Chris,
don't sleep on Mac Herman Trophy finalist Eddie Munjoma.
Yeah, I said Munjoma had a chance to win the starting job on a podcast a couple months ago. So
I do remember that.
Yeah.
But I think, but between Nelson and Munjoma, I think we're pretty deep at right back. So
yeah, I think we're okay.
Best of luck to Reggie in the summer.
That's right. Yeah, I love that. All right, Chris, your final pick to round out the expansion draft.
All right, with my last pick, another unproven player, Patrick Segrist.
Chris, in his 2 games for the New York Red Bulls, he's looked way off pace. The 2 games he had for the Red Bulls.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Everybody on my team.
I didn't know this was Rec Fun League where everyone gets to play equal playing time and all that stuff.
Hey, Bobby Epstein should be giving you a call here pretty quick. Chris, I think you need your help with the next crop of USL guys. He told me you have a knack for selecting MLS guys that would do really, really well translating to the lower league. So,
oh man, I really did miss this.
Me too. So, boys, we've heard all the picks. We're gonna go around now and we're gonna vote. My only stipulation is you can't vote for yourself. You got to vote and give me your top draft. So let's go around the horn one more time and just name our picks 1 through 5. So Travis, name your 1 through 5.
So I had Dom Dwyer, Alex Bono, O'Neal Fisher, Jamie Madronda, and Andy Rose.
Okay, Darth.
Juan Aguadello, Perry Kitchen, Papa Pico, Shea Salinas, and Endo.
8A.
I had Lee Wynn, Chris Seitz, Cobra, Kai Kamara, and Kyle Beckerman.
Okay. Cobra's the spry young one out of that list. Avery, what's your 5?
Okay, I had Justin Merrim, Perry Kitchen, Alex Bono, Juan Agudelo, and Declan Wynn.
Okay. And then Chris?
Yeah, I had Victor Cabrera, Victor Ulloa, Pablo Piatti, Carlos Fierro, and Patrick Segrist, the ultimate Patrick Segrist.
Okay. And then I had Alex Bono, Dom Dwyer, Justin Glad, Diego Rubio, and John Nelson. Those were my 5. So I'm going to go ahead and get the voting kicked off. Objectively here, I think Avery gets my vote for picks. He did good research. He went with the angle of how the GM would pick and how Josh Wolf would pick in relationship, and he didn't pick Andy Rose. So I'm gonna give it to Avery. Travis, who's your vote for winner?
Which Travis?
Carmichael, Death Star.
There you go. I am going to give it to Avery as well. Beginner's luck and all, but he picked a good strategy. And, hey, he didn't pick anybody over the age of 45, so there's that.
Darth, what about you? Who do you pick?
Yeah, so I can't vote for myself, so I'm going to give it to Hammer Time.
Yeah, that's right, baby. Amen.
Lame.
Soft.
I'm going to have to go with Darth. I really, really like the Shea Salinas pick, and I would have picked him as well had I not already seen Darth's picks today.
He's in the right age demographic.
Too young for you?
He's over 30.
Too young and too fast for me.
Yeah.
Hey, if we had to do an over 40 league, your group is going to be really good.
They're good.
Hey, 8A might draft Darth here in a second. So,
hey man, watch out for him in the over 40 Alianza tournament next summer.
Oh my God!
I'll do the Darth turn on you.
Oh,
man,
It's about that.
Avery, who would you vote for?
So I'm gonna have to vote for Darth as well.
Darth
solid
guy.
picks. Yeah, solid picks all around. We had some similar ones too, so I figured it's basically just as good as voting for myself.
Man, look at that, Darth freaking out.
Wait, does this mean Chris decides?
It might.
So
Mason
he can
isn't
either.
there.
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I voted for Avery.
2-2.
Oh, you picked Avery. That's right. It
Yeah.
is. Chris, a lot of weight on your.
All right, Chris. Who do you pick?
So who here is unproven on the podcast?
Besides you, Avery. Oh my God. I'm just kidding, Chris. I love you.
I'm sorry, but it's Darth. It's Darth. I'm sorry, Darth.
Darth! Oh my God! Again,
I like his
unanimous. Darth. He's playing some DJ Khaled in the background. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Darth is celebrating. Oh my God! As electrifying as a hairdryer in a bathtub. Darth. What a win! You got a speech for us for winning the expansion draft?
Well, I like the Tommy Smith reference there. That was brilliant.
Hey, that's Ray Hudson to you.
Yeah, whatever. You pick one.
If you're gonna come, you best come correct.
No, hey, look, I love the league. I've been around the league for a long time. I'm really looking forward to Austin coming into the league, and I'm hating that it's the 25-year anniversary, and man, we're not getting to experience it. Mrs. Darth and I got interviewed by FC Dallas the other day, and had to do some remembrance of the first game in the Cotton Bowl, and man, it brought back some great memories. It's killing me that we're not getting to really have the experience of the 25-year reunion the way it should be.
Yeah, I completely agree. But man, the guy that's been around the league the longest, shout out to you, Darth, for winning the expansion draft. Wisdom trumps all, I guess, in this. But boys, we're gonna roll right along now to what I think will be maybe even more hotly contested than the expansion draft picks, and that is Austin FC's first designated player signing. We've seen in years past that designated player signings can make or break a season. You can either sign guys like Carlos Vela and Josef Martinez, or you can sign your Jarjus and your Christian Colmans. So it is really make or break to see how you do in your season and if you can win trophies. So This is going to be a little different. I know some of you guys probably have a couple DPs on your list that you want to get through. So we're going to go one by one, and you're going to name all of the DPs you have on your list in order of most significant to least significant. And then after that, we're gonna move on. We're gonna get to argue our picks. So, Darth, you won the last challenge, so I'm gonna let you go first with the naming your DPs.
Yeah, so there was no limit on financial restrictions or anything. So
just how deep are Tony Precourt's pockets, baby?
They're pretty deep, and he loves Austin. So we need solid defense to start the team. We're going to go with Virgil van Dijk.
So
Mason melts down in 3,
Darth
2,
went with
1.
no semblance of realism with this pick.
So
Good
now you want to drop back to realism? Fine. So,
I'm sorry. That's the first time Avery has laughed at anything. And that was good. That was good.
Yes, come on. I wish you could see Mason's reaction. Unfortunately, our video is frozen.
Can I speak to Virgil van Dijk? We want to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, we know people that know people.
Yeah. Hey, I know you're playing in the Champions League every week, but you want to come play against FC Cincinnati on a turf field on a Thursday night?
There were no restrictions.
How about we play Cal FC in the U.S. Open Cup?
That'd be okay.
Get out of here,
All
Darth.
right, so you want a more realistic pick?
Yes,
How
Darth.
much are you planning on giving Virgil van Dijk to make him come over?
It's not my money. It's Precourt's money. All I can. All right.
Oh my God! All right, Darth, go ahead with your second one. You're down there.
So the one, I'm not crazy about the age, but Carlos Tevez.
That's not bad.
I think he's a tough guy. He can stand the physicality of the league. He's probably affordable. So realistic pick.
Hey, 8A sporting a partial.
I'm literally that's the only name I had written down. The one and only name I had written down.
Are you kidding me?
I'm dead serious.
Oh my God.
He would be great. And then on a flyer, James Rodriguez, maybe?
I don't hate the James Rodriguez pick. I don't hate that. Carlos Tevez I hate a lot because he's going to be 38. He's going to be 38 years old.
He would bring butts and seats, and he'd be great for a year or two.
Hey, we thought about Nielsen.
Yeah, well, those were my three because, again, you put no restrictions on it. So
this is why. This is great radio. This is why. 8A, since you said Tevez was your only one?
Yeah, so I didn't know we were going to have a list, but from the way you phrased the question, I just went with the one that came to my head. So Carlos Tevez, I think he'd be great with the Hispanic community there. Great player. I see him a little bit like a Carlos Ruiz, like he's going to play well into his 40s in that sense, and no other attributes at all. But I think Tevez is going to be another guy that can put the ball in the back of the net. And with that, probably could even play the point of a diamond with Cobra Kai up top.
Cobra Kai. Wow. You're playing one of the most athletically demanding formations with your team's 1,000 years old. So way to go there.
Iron lungs.
Oh my God. Age over beauty and experience and lung capacity, I guess. Producer Chris, we're gonna kick it to you, my man.
So do you want all three of them or just one? Just curious.
Did you listen to the question?
Yeah, I know, but I didn't know if you wanted me to go all three like Darth did.
Yeah.
So no, you didn't listen to the question. So no.
Chris, give me your three quickly.
Okay,
we might cut our last question for this week and transfer that over to next week because we're quickly running out of time here.
All right, so Luis Suarez, he would be.
Don't hate it.
He would be a goal scorer, and there's a reason why. There's a reason why, because he brings the drama, and people everywhere either love him or hate him, but they would love to watch him play regardless. So that's those players that would put butts into seats and score at the same time. He's the kind of guy that if you throw the ball into his direction, he will find a way to score. So he's able to open up space like nobody else in the world, really. And granted, he's been injury prone this past year, but still, he'd probably be cheap because of it. So I think it would be a great idea to bring somebody like that. Then Danny Alves on my right, and then Chris Smalling on my left.
Chris Smalling
on my left.
You're going to play him left back?
Yeah.
All I've got to say is Austin FC is going to have one heck of a Halloween night promotion with free Dracula teeth for Luis Suarez.
So, Chris, you're going to take 36-year-old Danny Alves as your right back, and you're going to play Chris Smalling at left back.
Yeah, why not? They got quiet.
Well,
I think some of us are frozen.
Yeah, I think the Death Star is frozen, which is probably a good thing because they would light you the hell up right now, Chris.
Looks like they're about to, the way they're frozen.
Yep. Yeah, it's Chris. I'm not gonna lie. When you said Chris Smalling at left back, I almost kicked you out of the chat. I can do that. I almost booted you from the chat.
I don't know. I just picked some guys for the back. I really don't have a good idea of what the system he's going to play. So I just figured, Danny Alves on the right, somebody that's probably going to be cheap that has experience going up and down, and that's about it. And then maybe Chris Smalling, just because I like Chris Smalling.
How many times have you seen Chris Smalling line up as a left back?
Oh, never.
I'm so happy that just happened the way it did because we lost audio and we didn't have a clue. And as soon as we get back on, it's literally I hear Luis Suarez, Chris Smalling at left back, and who was the third
Phil
one?
Jones, I think.
I just picked some old guys.
Was it Danny Alves? Did I hear Danny Alves?
Yeah, I just picked some old guys, man.
All right, boys, we're not going to rip him to him anymore on camera. Avery, we're going to kick it to you, man. Who are your DP picks?
Okay, so I took my own liberty and made quite the list. I'll run through it quick. James Rodriguez, who was mentioned, was my number one. He's bounced around for years. He needs a healthy home, a team that actually loves him. So, perfect fit. Madrid, obviously isn't going to work out for him. He's going to go somewhere else. But, he's at this point, kind of an overrated, washed up guy. So he'll probably go to United. But let's see, my other list. Yeah, and then I thought David Silva would be an interesting one. He's a little older. He's 34, but, he could pick apart some passes and make some plays in the midfield and not move a ton. We saw with Zlatan, you don't have to move that much to succeed in the MLS if you're skillful enough. Another player I like, and is kind of, I don't know about left field, but I think Benzema would be an interesting one. He loves America. He loves the spotlight. Loves to get in trouble. He scores some goals. He's only 32, kind of an underrated player. I don't know. I imagine him being the guy who, if he came to America, he would have to go to like LA or Miami or something like that. I don't know if he'd want to live in Austin, Texas. Great city. I love living here, but I think, Benzema's probably going to want to live in somewhere, on the coast. But I think Benzema would be an interesting one. And then my last one was Cavani, who was, rumored to enter Miami quite a bit. Another Uruguayan who's a bit older, can bang in some goals. And, I think you want to have a DP that's going to score some goals, is going to show some flash. And, we saw what the ticket prices might be like. So they better sign a big player. So that's why I'm trying to shoot for the moon on this. I hit doubles for my my expansion draft, so now I'm trying to hit a grand slam for the designated player.
I love it. That's great. Travis Carmichael, would you want to go now or last? Now, go for it.
So first off, I don't appreciate the non-sports reference there, Avery. We don't talk about that stickball sport on here. Baseball. We don't talk about no baseball. So I was smart enough to actually reach out to the host and ask what our parameters were, and his exact response was, well, how much money do you think Precourt's going to spend? So we kind of left it open to us because apparently Virgil van Dijk is on the payroll now.
Shouldn't the host have put that in the guidelines, though?
Maybe you should ask smart questions.
No, if there are no rules, there are no rules.
You just saying words. Anyway, it did cross my mind that Coutinho would be in the bargain bin, but I didn't go that far because nobody wants Coutinho.
Bargain
apparently. Mate,
Chris.
he got sold for like $150 million, and now they can't even get him off the books for like 60. It was a joke. Relax. My three are as follows. My one that is not going to happen is 28-year-old Mexican international Raul Jimenez. But he's worth $44 million on the market, so that ain't gonna happen.
Not yet.
No. My two other ones, which I thought were interesting, is one is 29-year-old Luis Muriel to come bang in some goals. I think he's at Sevilla, maybe. He's $13.5 million. He's Colombian goal scorer. Chris is Googling. Thank you, Chris. And then my final one is interesting. I would think at taking a run at 33-year-old, he's worth about $10.5 million on the market.
God, he could be on A-Day's team.
From Napoli, Jose Callejon.
Oh my God! Pick Solomon Rondon, why don't you?
I'm surprised none of you two at the Death Star picked Solomon Rondon, if I'm being honest.
Jose Callejon?
Yeah, Callejon.
Callejon. It's not bad. It's not a bad shout. Shut up.
All right, boys. I'm gonna.
He plays for Atalanta.
Oh, that's right. He just got traded over to Atalanta in the offseason. All right, boys. I went pretty in depth with my reasoning for why I picked these, which should come to a surprise to no one.
Shocker.
So I went with three picks that are realistic. I went from most realistic to least realistic for designated player, because that's the way I wanted to answer the question. Pick number one, it's a player with a contract that is up in December. They've been linked several times with a move to MLS. They'd be well known and well liked by the Hispanic community. A potent striker in front of goal, and they're under 30 years old. My first pick for DP would be 29-year-old striker from Monterrey, Rogelio Funes Mori. So he's my number one.
Can you break your own rules and make a deal where they also include his twin brother who's better?
Depends on how much. Depends on if Precourt can offer him free 2 weekend ACL passes.
Everybody ACL.
Shut up, Travis. All right. Next up, contract up in 2021, so there would have to be a transfer fee. But because he's in a contract year coming up, it might be a little bit easier to negotiate for the player because they don't want to lose him on a free. He's versatile. He can play three positions. He can play outside back, outside mid, or center mid. And he's a Mexican national team player, 32-year-old Miguel Layún.
Google.
I like that. Chris doesn't know who he is, so he's Googling it.
How do you spell Layún? Did you mean Miguel Layún? You're muted. Okay.
I remember him in Spain. I just couldn't for which teams.
Yeah.
That's all. I was just trying to
a mute button before you talk. You got technology. It works.
Yeah, I did like him. I did like him in Spain. I do remember that.
Yeah, so he's a guy that's pretty versatile, could play multiple positions, would draw out the Hispanic crowd in Austin, which is a big deal. My third one is for you, Travis Carmichael. This is my Travis Carmichael pick.
Is it Traore?
Nope.
Damn it.
He's got a big brand appeal. He's a very, very large player. His contract expires June 2021. So again, they'd be looking to make a cut rate deal for him, or maybe he's a guy they can bring in over the summer in 2021. He's a bulldog, hard-ass center midfielder, and his physicality matches the league. Ladies and gentlemen, Chilean international Arturo Vidal.
Wow.
Oh man, he gave me the World Cup. I love it. Hey, that's how you make a list of designated players.
That last one I like the most.
Win.
I like that last one. That one was my favorite.
Can we go ahead and just give me the win for this one?
Yes.
Yeah, you're in.
Amen.
All right. Those were some good shouts there.
Yeah, and I think Funes Mori is a real possibility. Keep your eye on that for next year.
Yeah, I like that shout a lot. I mean, I think he's like in the 12 to 15 million range, maybe, but he's definitely a player.
Yeah, I agree. Well, boys, we had one more question on the docket, but we're an hour and a half in already, so we're gonna push that back to next week. For all you out there that were tuning in for the U.S. men's national team coverage, good Lord.
Oh
my God. So I don't even know what's going on anymore. We're gonna push that back to next week. So David from Centex Lobos, your ass is safe for another week. So we'll come get you next week with the U.S. men's national team takes. But boys, do you have any parting words?
Yeah, so David had a good list, so I hate that we're not getting to that. But, except for Jay Smooth that he didn't put on the list. But
Hey,
other than that, props to David.
Yep, fair enough. All right, Doug.
Hey, Darth, I got boxes of for the jerseys. I got cases for my jerseys, the ones I got from Ashley Cole. They're gonna go up this weekend.
I don't know how to do that. So, but boxes of jerseys from Ashley Cole. Are those worth much?
No. Boxes with the frame case.
Shadow box.
The shadow box. My bad. I had to work today. Believe me. I am burnt.
Same here, man.
Yeah, me too. Must be nice being at the lake. Anyway, boys, that's all the time we got. Thanks again to Avery for joining us from Talk Austin FC. Hopefully we'll have him on, and hopefully we can get Brady on too. I'd love to have Brady on the show and have him talk. Hopefully we can also get Dirt on here, as well as Ricky, and get all your favorite analysts on here. So we're gonna keep coming to you guys once a week with this Skype call kind of podcast thing. Let us know how you feel about it. If you hate it, let us know. If you love it, if you have topics that you want to hear us talk about, we're thinking about doing an MLS story time with the Carmichaels and Travis Ade for us to kind of run through our favorite MLS memories and moments in history, things like that. Of course, we're going to do some national team stuff next week. But, boys, thank you all so much for being on. I really, really appreciate you guys. Stay safe. Social distance. Darth and TC are sitting a little bit too close there for my liking. But you did wear face masks, and for that, I appreciate you.
They cut the mouth out. I don't think that counts.
Dang. Fair enough. All right, boys. Well, we're gonna get out of here. For all of our listeners, I've been Mason. We got Chris. We got Ade. We got Carmichael. We got Darth. We got Avery. We'll see you guys next week.